Hey, good morning. I'm Valerie from the Hollywood Times. Thank you, Ed, for joining us. And I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce yourself, if you would, please.
Sure. My name's Ed Ornelas. I'm executive producer, director on Harlan Coben Shelter, season one. And I and everybody is affiliated with the show. We're super excited about premiering here in about a week, a little less than a week, a couple days, 72 hours.
You got that right. And I appreciate it that we can talk before you premiere because I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm like one of the first ones to see it, and I just am. So, yay. How much of the series is based on Coben's novel?
Well, there's three of them. There's three novels, and Harlan and Alan McDonald, his co-showrunner, and the writers, they worked from all three novels for the
Right.
first season. And so there's a little bit of all of them in there, and there's also some new material, a couple of characters that are more fulled out, and I think that the novels are the DNA of the show, but Harlan is particularly adept at being able to shift gears and know that like what you've written for a novel might be better translated when you go to TV, when you go to a different medium. And so, in terms of locations, in terms of kind of, at the core, like Mickey is Mickey, but there are changes that you'll see in the show that I think are really cool and interesting, and I think he's able to kind of make adjustments with the medium, because in the book, you as you read it, you build the truth of the characters in your mind, but now once you've cast actors to play them, it's going to be a little bit different. And one of the things I marveled at with him and what the writers were able to do is like look at the cast, look at their strengths, how they come across as we film them, and then write to that. And because the actors are going to do their research, and they're going to fill out the world of that character, and it's going to be and I think it's they're gonna make it interesting and real and still fit within this Harlan Coben story.
What new elements should fans expect from the series?
I think that I think you're gonna get the twists and turns that
Yeah.
Harlan does, like that. That is definitely there. I think what you're gonna see is really an expansion of that world. I mean, now that we're able to film in New Jersey and the story takes place in New Jersey, you're able to kind of see that conveyed, and and we're able to I don't know, show parts of that world that maybe you didn't see as specifically in the novels. And some of that comes just even out of production. Like I had never been to New Jersey. It was my first time there. So every time I turned a corner, it was fresh. It was
Uh-huh.
new. Whereas the locals might be, oh yeah, that's that. I'm like, yeah, but to the guy from the West Coast, like this is amazing. Like you got to show this because you don't realize how cool it is. And that could be Liberty Park. Like we could take a scene that had been written interior cafe. I'm like, let's put the cafe outside at Liberty Park and shoot with the New York City behind it. And there's even a line of dialogue, if you remember, in the second episode, where Emus says, "I've always thought the view was better on our side." And there's some natural wonders in New Jersey, like the Patterson Falls. I've never seen anything like it, and so I feel like, and it's all integrated into the story, and it makes sense with like what's happening in the world. And when you watch it, it'll make sense. But I feel like we were able to, really kind of expand the location and kind of the meaning of it. It's especially important, I think, for Mickey, because he starts in California, and then there's a tragedy that befalls him, and he moves to the East Coast, and so that's all a discovery for him. And so as a filmmaker, you want to kind of show him in this world. He's an outsider, and that's why he ends up connecting with a couple of other outsiders. I think that some of the other changes that you'll see is, when we cast Ema is described a very specific way in the book, but when it came time to casting, the best actor for that part had a different, like, the energy was there, but she just had a different physicality. So I think Abby does an incredible job of making that character truthful and interesting and with lots of layers. She brings a great depth to it, and just a consummate pro. Adrian Greensmith, he plays Spoon, and I always thought, oh, that's a difficult part, because in the book I'm able to ground it. I thought he was pretty broad in the book, and I loved the character, but Adrian comes to it, and there's such a sensitivity and such a nuance, but he's also so funny. Like, Adrian is a really funny actor.
Yes.
And so Harlan was open to, there being some riffing there, and he's like, I write funny stuff, but Adrian is very funny.
Yeah.
So let's do a few takes and see what he does. And, a lot of those ended up in the final cuts. And I think that, Mickey, when I read the Mickey part in the book, I had a very concrete idea of kind of like what that person should be. And Jaden Michael is a great actor. He's really, like, he's so young, but he's done so much, and he's just, he's such a smart person. Like, to have, I don't know if you've had any interviews with him, but he's such, for any of his projects, like, he's just very, he's an intellectual, but he doesn't let that get in the way of emotion and finding emotion and whatnot. And I think integrating him and giving his character, who's half, the actor is of Dominican ethnicity, and so the character now has that component, and it's written into the story, and it's done in a very, I think, a very subtle, but also, like, I guess, effective way. It influenced how we cast Kitty, his mother, and it really, like, the reverberations of that, I think, are really interesting for the story and for how all, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, you must have read my mind, because my next question was going to be about the characters and how they were chosen, and you've already expounded on a lot of the characters. And did you already have the actors in mind, or was it based on the auditions only?
Well, it's based on the auditions, and I think, and then the pairing of them, because, like, individually, you want to house the chemistry between them.
Sure,
and
absolutely.
they have to find that. And I think that's all part of kind of the magic of these three together, is like, that's something that's really unique, is that individually they're a certain way, but once you put them together, they're going to impact each other and the way they relate to each other, both as actors, but also, like, the parts they're playing. I feel like it resonates, like, just when you watch these scenes, and even just the dailies before they're cut, you're seeing something unique. And that's why I can watch those scenes over and over and over. And there'll be a scene that we'll film, and you laugh when you're watching it, and then 9 months later we're on the mix stage, and I'm still laughing at it, because it's so funny and it's still fresh. Like, they've really found something special, the cast.
Love it. Do you think this series is something that the whole family can watch?
I do. I think that, first of all, like, anybody that enjoys Harlan's books, like, I think they're gonna love the series. I think it delivers all the things, and that's, Harlan was there every day when we were filming. Which I didn't know when I started the gig. And then I realized, like, oh, he's going to be here every day. This is really fun. I like that. I like having the author there. You might say, oh, it's more pressure because, his books are everywhere and he's sold 80 million of them and he's got a big fan base. But I like that. I mean, I would turn, we'd be filming something and I turn and he'd be there laughing with me at him, like, oh, this is good. It's working, and then we could experiment and whatnot. I think when I read the books, the subject was, it had weight to it. It deals with things that exist in the world. And I think the way Harlan treats them is, there might be young people, but young people are smart, and they're, a lot of times they, especially today, they see things in the world that maybe I wouldn't have seen until I was older, and they have to process it. And so he doesn't necessarily treat them like kids, that's the young adult component. And that's what I like about it. And so, I feel like at its core, the show is about friendship. It's about family. It's also about young people wanting to make the world a better place. And that's one of the gifts of youth, is making the world the way you want it to be, the way it should be. And I think, being on them with this journey, that is, it's fun. It's a roller coaster ride, but it also has gravitas, and especially the components about family and friendship and feeling like an outsider. Like, I think there's all those things that you can watch and really get something out of.
Yeah, you were just talking about Harlan and all of the work he's done. And I know he's written, I don't know, something over 35 novels. Has he talked about, can we expect any more adaptations in the near future?
Yes, you can. He's here's the thing about Harlan that one of the things I love about Harlan. First, he's a cool cat. That's what I said. Like, oh, he's such a cool cat. We would be filming and there'd be, time between lighting setups, and he'd be back there writing. He'd be writing a script. He'd be writing another novel. He's always got material being produced. I can't keep track because there are so many books, and he's prolific in that way. And I appreciate that about him. I find it very exciting, and I find it inspiring. It's like, wow, he's back to writing a novel. I better come up with some cooler shots, and because we got to keep up with him. But he's always got something going on. So I have a feeling he'll be, he publishes once a year at least, and so I think there'll be something. There's always a few irons in the fire with Harlan Coben.
Very cool. Well, I know you're a busy man, and I'm excited for this to get on screen. I'm just wondering if Amazon Prime is the only place it's going to be shown, if there's any other platforms that might be on. We might not be able to answer that right now, but
yeah, I mean, as far as I know, 240 territories on Prime Video, and as far as I know, that's where it's living at the moment. We'll see.
Well, I just want to thank you for your time, Ed, and I'm Valerie from the Hollywood Times today, and then our website is that, and then our YouTube is the Hollywood Times Official, and hopefully maybe we can meet in person one day.
That would be amazing. Thank you, Valerie.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Ditto. All right. We'll be promoting and looking out for the show in 2 days. All right.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's funny. You put everything you got into something, and it's been a year. In fact, we might have started principal photography almost exactly a year ago today. And everybody, works so hard and cares so much about it. And now it's the moment of truth. And
I feel your passion. I feel your love. I love your smile. It's amazing. Good for you.
That's great. Thanks, Val.
Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Right. You too. Bye.
Yeah, bye.